This is the Sattler File.
Wright Homes, when you're looking for attention to detail and a uniquely designed home to suit all your needs. At Wright Homes, we only build a limited number of homes per year, so we can truly focus on what you want out of a prestige home builder. We've continually won awards for excellence, with a record number of wins last year and the proud winner of the Australian Townhouse Villa of the Year. While we love building homes to suit each client, we pride ourselves on designing homes that take into account the special safety needs of some of our clients. If you have a dream, we can make it come true. Talk to Jay Mangano and find out more about Wright Homes at www.devright.com.au.
A kiss, a long embrace, a fond farewell should be personal. That's why personal funerals allow you to remember the life of your loved ones in a way that truly reflects their individual character. It's the difference that makes every goodbye unique. For more information about planning a special goodbye, visit personalfunerals.com.au, because every goodbye is different.
I'm John Hughes. I'm very proud of the tremendous amount of repeat and referral business that we do in Victoria Park, and this is because I've personally trained all of my salespeople to be non-pushy, friendly and professional, and to always provide first class before and after sales service. I jealously safeguard my reputation, so if you want the best car buying experience in WA, choose your dealer before you choose your car. That's John Hughes in Victoria Park. DL 6061.
Is there anything more confusing than the world of finance? Why would you risk managing your own financial affairs without the help of a professional? But you don't want to talk to just anyone. You want financial advice that is both comprehensive and objective. That's what you get from Paramount Wealth Management. As a fee-based firm with no institutional ties, you can be sure that what you get from Paramount is all about your interests and not those of a financial institution. Call Paramount today on 9474 3522 or visit www.paramount.net.au.
This is the Sattler File.
Welcome back to the Sattler Files, and it's my great pleasure to introduce a brand new segment starting this week. It's called Behind Closed Doors. And you may be wondering, what about closed doors? But there's a lot going on behind closed doors that a lot of professionals know about and a lot of victims know about, but the general public don't. And it's my great pleasure to welcome for the first time into the studio, Shirley McMurdo. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you, Despine. It's really nice to be on Sattler File today.
Thank you. Now, what you do, domestic violence, this is your area of expertise, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And as we know, it does go on behind closed doors.
Very much so.
Can you tell me a little bit about, you've been a lawyer for more than 25 years. Have you always dealt with that area?
No, I've done many areas of the law. I started off in Australia in the 1990s working with the Family and Children's Services, and I did 5-year stint there in attending to child protection matters. And at that time, I found that there was a lot of domestic violence associated with child protection. Usually the women, were in a situation where they were in a web of domestic violence and found it very difficult to extract themselves from that situation.
And it is a web, isn't it? It's a very, very tight web that for some women they can see no way out.
This is quite correct. It's the thing that makes it different to any kind of other abuse is that it's actually intimate partner abuse, and you go through a cycle of abuse and you don't even know you're in it until you actually have something catastrophic happen to you, like you end up having physical violence perpetrated against you by your husband. It is that at that point that you realize something's not right.
And this could be building up for years, can't it? I've heard about there are certain stages with the walking on eggshells before the actual violence takes place. And then after the violence takes place, there's the honeymoon phase of the sorries and I'll never do it again. Yes. And I'm sure you hear it every day.
Yes, there's a lot of forgiveness, and the forgiveness can eventually lead to a catastrophic event occurring. Most people naturally want to forgive, and that's what they naturally do, especially with their partner. But sometimes it gets to the stage where you just can't stay in that situation.
Well, they're tired. They feel like if they take their children away from their house, if they take their children away from the source of finance, that they're going to disadvantage the children even more than what is going on in that dysfunctional household.
Yeah, but what they have to understand is if they move away from that cycle of abuse, they're actually providing their children with a chance to not have that cycle perpetuate itself in a generational way. And that's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with generations of domestic violence, and it's the only way you can actually get away from that is to consciously make a choice.
To change your life?
Yes.
And how do they do that?
Well, many of them usually end up at psychologists' offices, or they end up at the Department of Child Protection, or they may end up in other legal forums, working agencies with the government. And it's at that point that is pointed out to them they are actually in a cycle. And I have had a client who said to me she was actually in a cycle for 20 years and she didn't even know she was in a cycle.
Really?
Yes.
What did she think was going on?
She just thought that was just the way her husband was, and she had to adjust to him.
That she had to adjust to him?
Yes, that she had to adjust to his ways.
What was the level of violence going on in that house?
There was situations where he would hit the children with a belt.
Okay, so
Yes.
It wasn't just her. He was hitting the children as well.
Yes, he was.
Oh, at that point, I would have been out the door.
Yeah, but see...
it's all very well for us to say that, isn't it?
Very well to say, but she was in a situation where she thought that was just part of disciplining their children.
Did she grow up in a house where her father
I
hit
never
them?
actually asked her that question. It probably would be interesting to see what she would say. But many of the women are often also from loving families. It's just that they've come into a situation that they're not really familiar with, but they feel that they're married and they really have to, make the best of their situation.
You've made your bed, you lie in it.
That is correct.
Yeah, we've all heard that one before. All right, now look, we've been skirting around the edges of why you're really here. Behind Closed Doors is a segment we want to do. But tell me about this amazing practice you've set up, the wonderful things that you are doing for women who are caught in these horrible traps.
Yes,
Tell me about your new practice.
Yes, we've set up a domestic violence legal clinic which operates in Morley. And what we do is we provide legal advice to victims of domestic violence in relation to how to get a violence restraining order. We also attend court on their behalf. We handle family court matters. Most of the matters are to do with parenting arrangements and property settlement, as well as criminal injuries compensation, which many women don't realize they're entitled to.
So they can actually go for criminal injuries compensation against the husband who has hurt them.
Yes, they can, and it doesn't necessarily mean that that the husband has to have charges levied against him.
Okay.
As long as it's a police report, and if the police have attended to their home on several occasions, and they have general reports to evidence that, they would be able to claim compensation.
Because I hear from a lot of my policeman friends that quite often you get called to a domestic situation, and by the time you get there, it's somewhat diffused, and she's saying, no, it's all right, it's okay, you can go now, it's okay. Yeah. And it's so frustrating for the police because they know what's going on. They know it's not okay, but they can't do anything if she's saying it's all right now.
Yeah, and that happens many times. I understand that it actually takes 7 attempts to actually leave your husband.
Goodness me.
Before you actually make that choice.
And I thought there were only 50 ways to leave your lover. 7 ways to leave an abusive husband. Goodness me.
Yeah, 7 times.
7 times. 7 attempts. So I guess with each attempt, she would become bolder.
Yes, you get, definitely get bolder. You start to understand what your rights are. And if there are any victims of domestic violence out there, I urge them to contact us. The domestic
Do you want to tell them how they can? How can
Yes,
they get in touch with you?
They could contact me at the Domestic Violence Legal Clinic in Morley, and the phone number is 9375 1488. That's 9375 1488. They could also look at our website for more information, and that is domesticviolencelegalclinic.com.au. If they wanted to come to us by email, because many of the women don't like actually picking up the phone.
Yeah,
And
that's incredibly personal, isn't it?
Yes.
A one-to-one conversation,
Yes.
whereas there's a little bit of anonymity behind an email or a voice message or something like that.
Yes, and many women would prefer to initially contact us by email. So I would suggest contacting Shirley at domesticviolencelegalclinic.com.au.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do a lot of cases. When we started out, we only just started up in January the 5th.
And look at us, it's only February.
It's
only
only
just
February.
February. And how far have you come? I believe you've got quite a few clients already.
I've got 22 clients already that have come through the doors, and I anticipate many more will come through the doors because we are the first domestic violence legal clinic in Australia.
And what makes you even more special is that you charge your clients based only on what they can afford,
That's
not
right.
what you want to not what you want to achieve. Yes.
Yes, I charge clients in accordance to their income. So, if you were on an income of below $30,000 a year, you would only be charged $125 per hour.
God, that's unheard of to walk into a lawyer for only that small amount of money.
Yeah, the normal hours are usually, with most other lawyers, is $400 per hour, and it doesn't matter what income bracket you're in. So realistically, I thought if I was going to make a difference, I really have to meet the client where they're at.
And where they're at is usually financially compromised.
Yes.
Because isn't that part of the power trip for a lot of these men?
Many of the men are actually handling the finances, and the women basically live out of housekeeping money. And for them to come and see me, they have to put that money aside, but they can because it's my billing. My bills are done weekly. So we manage our accounts with our clients so that they don't get behind.
And obviously you take cash so that there isn't a money trail for the husband to follow.
Yep, we do take cash as well as FPOS.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair enough too. Now, Rosie Batty, we all know who Rosie Batty is,
Yes.
an amazing woman who had the most horrific thing happen before her eyes and to her precious child.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about how Rosie Batty inspired you?
Well, what I really found amazing about Rosie Batty was that she, at the very first time that she was interviewed on television, she indicated that domestic violence does not actually discriminate itself. It covers all kinds of walks of life, various sectors of the society, and
The intelligent, the not so
intelligent,
intelligent, the rich, the not so rich. It's everybody.
it's everyone. Everyone could be affected by domestic violence. It's not just people in the lower socioeconomic group, which everyone, basically says is the case.
No, I think there's a lot more going on in the western suburbs than people would even imagine.
Yes, and it's actually harder for the women who are from,
The affluent areas.
affluent areas because they are so much under the control of a husband who is powerful and influential.
And they have a lifestyle.
And they have a lifestyle they have to maintain. And all of this makes it even harder for them to come forward. But, we are there for everyone, not just, not just a lower socioeconomic group. We're there for all different sectors, right across different cultures.
Mm-hmm. And I think because you're ethnic too, like I am, we have an
Yes.
ethnic background, it gives us a little bit of an insight into the lives of some of the women. The Asian women would be able to relate to you. Ethnic Greek women would probably relate to me if I was doing the same sort of thing because we know how you get brought up. We know what the dynamics are in the family.
That's right, yeah.
And there's all the shame. It's all shame.
Yes,
it's a big thing.
You're not supposed to really speak out against your husband. And, the traditions...
Don't bring shame on the family.
Yes, the traditions are still there. And it applies not just to Asian families, but it applies also to European families.
Oh, yeah, of course it does. Yeah, no, it really does. What's been the reaction from the local legal fraternity?
Well, they've been really good.
Are you getting referrals from them?
I do get referrals from Law Access. They've agreed to send us some work. And but the Legal Practice Board, they seemed quite happy with what I was doing. So that's...
Oh, well, you'd soon hear about it if they weren't.
Yes.
I would say no news is good news.
Yes.
No, but that's good to hear. But it's also, it'll be good. I mean, as we said, you're barely a month old.
Yes, barely a month old.
Barely a month old. This is a very, very new business. I can see it has so much potential. I can see it's going to get really, really big very, very quickly. And I just hope you've got some extra staff to put on to help.
There's going to be a lot of people who...
There's only one of you, Shirley.
I know, there's only one of me, but I have a really amazing paralegal. Her name is Lucette Combo Mestiona, and she is a Wonder Woman.
She is indeed. She is indeed. She does everything for you.
She does. I wouldn't be able to do the work I do if I didn't have her.
Yeah, well, that does make things, but it's also, I think it's just so amazing that you have this real drive and this real need and a compassion too to help women in this situation.
Yes, I did enjoy my time when I opened up my own clinics back in the 1990s. I enjoyed my time working in the Perth Legal Clinic and the Midland Legal Clinic, which I set up because I could see that it was an affordable way to provide legal advice, and it really helped clients. You could see that that what you did made a difference in their lives. And I think doing that is much more important than pushing paper.
Oh, of course. I mean, I know this practice is only a month old, but are there days when you go home and think, oh my God, I wish I hadn't heard that?
No, nothing surprises me.
No. You're prepared for everything, are you?
Yeah. Look, and I've watched a lot of crime shows. So,
yeah, because I don't know. I just don't know whether I'd be able to leave it behind when I close that office door.
Well, I think that's because of my training as a lawyer. We've always have to have, sort of a relationship which isn't absorbed with emotion. So because of that, there's a compassion, but at the same time...
Of course, you care for your clients and you'll do your very best for them. But
you do need to have an arm's length. Otherwise, you can't be objective.
Well, you can't go home and lie awake at night worrying about your clients
and
because you're not going to help anybody.
Correct. Then I wouldn't be able to help them when they come in the door.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to sort of anecdotal stories, we've touched on the fact that money is a fairly big factor to prevent women from making the break and getting out of the relationship. Yes. What can they do? How can they? If they haven't got that much money, there's no point in calling in forensic accountants to look through the books, because if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. Yeah. And as they say, half of nothing is nothing.
Yes, that's right. But most of the women who are so dependent on their husband's income, they don't come forward. These are the ones that are the difficult, situations. And it's only when they end up in a hospital and the police are saying, do you want to charge him? And the social workers are saying, do you realize it won't change? That they start to wake up. And it's because their lives are threatened that they come forward. Most of the victims who come from the affluent backgrounds, I really do actually feel quite sorry for them, because they are crippled, by the behaviors of their husband, and they simply, can't seem to fight it, get through that wall.
And to the outside world, they have a dream existence.
Yes, everyone thinks,
everyone
looking
rich,
in,
they're
wonderful.
They're rich, they've got this lovely lifestyle. What has she got to complain about?
Yes.
And they have no idea that this poor woman lives in sheer terror and fear for most of her days.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've seen in my experience.
They wouldn't get much sympathy.
No, none
from,
at all.
From their peers or whatever.
Because most of them would say, oh, she's got property, look at her clothes, she's just always, always looking so graceful, but it's all an act often because, you know.
And I'm sure those pieces of jewellery were the I'm so sorry pieces of jewellery after he's done something terrible to her.
Yes.
So even the jewellery would mock her.
It would, yeah. It sort of keeps her in her place.
Does, yeah. And it just seems so unfair, doesn't it? But then, I mean, I know it's not as often, but people are now starting to talk about the battered husband syndrome.
Yeah.
Do you think that exists?
Well, we do have victims who are male. Statistically, there's not as many, but the statistics do say 1 in 7 men do suffer at times from domestic violence. It's actually harder for a man to come forward for help.
I think it'd be very, very difficult.
Yes, they do suffer in silence, and often many of them commit suicide.
Really?
Yes, because there is to them no other way.
No way out.
Yes.
There's nothing else they can do. Oh, okay. Now that you're a month old, what does the future hold? Bigger and better things?
Well, the future is part of the whole idea is it's part of a vision. The vision I've had for the domestic violence legal clinics is to set up the very first clinic in Perth, followed by clinics in every other state in Australia. The program that I've started is called Beacons of Light, and that is exactly what I intend to do, provide light and security to the victims of domestic violence.
That there is some way out, that there
is
light at the end of the tunnel, for whatever cliche you might want to use. But
that's right.
Beacon of Light, that's lovely.
Yeah, that's the Beacon of Light program that we are setting up. And at the moment, we have a GoFundMe fund that we're looking for people to support us in. And the best way to
I can see your very good assistant is passing you notes.
Yes, she is. And the note is, tell them gofundme.com/DVLCWA.
Okay. All right. Yep. Good. Well, we've got that detail as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we might just take a short ad break and we'll be back with Shirley. And this is the Sattler Files and you're listening to Behind Closed Doors.
This is the Sattler Files.
DevRite Homes, when you're looking for attention to detail and a uniquely designed home to suit all your needs. At DevRite Homes, we only build a limited number of homes per year, so we can truly focus on what you want out of a prestige home builder. We've continually won awards for excellence, with a record number of wins last year and the proud winner of the Australian Townhouse Villa of the Year. While we love building homes to suit each client, we pride ourselves on designing homes that take into account the special safety needs of some of our clients. If you have a dream, we can make it come true. Talk to Jay Mangano and find out more about DevRite Homes at www.devrite.com.au.
A kiss, a long embrace, a fond farewell should be personal. That's why personal funerals allow you to remember the life of your loved ones in a way that truly reflects their individual character. It's the difference that makes every goodbye unique. For more information about planning a special goodbye, visit personalfunerals.com.au, because every goodbye is different.
I'm John Hughes. I'm very proud of the tremendous amount of repeat and referral business that we do in Victoria Park, and this is because I've personally trained all of my salespeople to be non-pushy, friendly and professional, and to always provide first-class before and after-sales service. I jealously safeguard my reputation, so if you want the best car buying experience in WA, choose your dealer before you choose your car. That's John Hughes in Victoria Park. DL 6061.
Is there anything more confusing than the world of finance? Why would you risk managing your own financial affairs without the help of a professional? But you don't want to talk to just anyone. You want financial advice that is both comprehensive and objective. That's what you get from Paramount Wealth Management. As a fee-based firm with no institutional ties, you can be sure that what you get from Paramount is all about your interests and not those of a financial institution. Call Paramount today on 9474 3522 or visit www.paramount.net.au.
This is the Sattler Files.
Welcome back to the Sattler Files, and you're listening to Behind Closed Doors, and I'm talking to Shirley McMurdo, who has set up an amazing new practice for victims of domestic violence, emotional violence, financial violence. There are a whole lot of things involved in that, isn't it, Shirley?
Yes.
There are a lot of factors.
Psychological abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse as well. So there are many kinds of domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's taken a long time for people to start talking about these things, and hence why we call it Behind Closed Doors, because there are still people who find it difficult to open up and confess that, yes, hey, I'm in that situation. What do I do?
Yes, it is very difficult for most of them.
It is. We were talking earlier before the break too about the fact that you charge very low fees. You basically means test your clients and charge them what they can afford. So who's funding all of this? Who's funding this practice of yours?
Well, I am very fortunate to have the support of my husband,
who is a lawyer as well.
Who is a lawyer,
yes,
and he has kindly agreed for me to do this work, and I do feel that he believes in the clinic.
Well, he's put his money where his mouth is, hasn't
yes,
he? He obviously believes in it.
He believes in it, and he gives me.
And he believes in you.
I hope so.
Of course he does.
And like I come home quite tired some days because of the the amount of emotion that's let out in the office.
Of course.
But I come home to a meal, and it's always cooked.
Oh, my God, he sounds too good to be true.
He is. He's amazing.
He does. He sounds wonderful. But isn't it fantastic that I'm not saying he's allowing you to do what you want to do, but he's enabling you to do it because he's making things easy for you.
Yes.
By supporting you in the best way, like cooking a meal and telling you that the money doesn't matter for the time being. I mean, that's sensational.
Yes. I believe the practice will eventually pay for itself because we have clients from different income groups that will come in
and they won't all be cash strapped.
No, they won't. Not there. Some of them aren't even now. They're not cash strapped. But I have also got another legal firm that helps this clinic because this clinic is actually a community outreach program for a legal firm called Swift Legal Services.
Right.
And that actually provides it's a general legal practice. So if anyone out there has any legal issues that they want to discuss or would like to come see me about general legal matters, then I would be charging a rate of $350 per hour, which helps to then facilitate.
It balances
yes,
out.
It helps to facilitate.
It helps to balance.
The domestic violence legal clinic, which I believe is
very much needed.
Very much needed, and it's basically going to break through a lot of doors.
Yeah, I think it will indeed. We were talking just in the break too about statistics, and you're keen to gather statistics.
Yes, I'm keen to gather statistics from the clients that actually come in with their permission. The main reason...
Yeah, and that's a very important point, isn't it?
Yes.
With their permission, because everything that goes on in that office is absolutely privileged. It does not leave the room.
It does not, and I will never use their names. If they do agree to be part of a statistical pool, it would basically only be numbering how many and what kind of abuse that they were suffering.
Yeah.
And the reasons for this would be to help change laws. Like it's just so different in the way these domestic violence incidents are treated in the courts.
But what I don't understand is when there is such a high percentage now of women at the bench, I still don't get why things aren't changing.
Well, things are changing slowly.
But not fast enough.
Not fast enough, but the thing is the law has always been slow to catch up with the way,
with society's
values. And I do believe that we will eventually get there. But what I foresee that would really, really help all the victims of domestic violence would be a domestic violence court a totally different jurisdiction that would actually help understand the kind of crimes that are committed against.
So almost like a boutique court that only handled domestic violence.
And
it's an interesting concept.
It isn't. Well, there's other courts that involve administrative tribunals and things like that. So why not a domestic violence court? And many times domestic violence is termed common assault. And it's not quite common assault. It's actually intimate partner violence. And the way that
there's no bigger betrayal than being attacked, hit or bashed by the man you married or the woman you married.
Yes, this is right. And the courts don't actually make any allowances for that, the family unit and how that's being affected.
I can understand. Yeah, no, I can see your point. Do you think it's going to happen in our lifetime?
Yes, I do.
You're determined, aren't you?
Yeah,
I love it. That's what I love about you, Shirley. You're just so passionate about this, and you really do care.
I do.
You really do care.
Yeah. I just want to see some difference being made in the lives of the victims.
I can understand that. Before we close today, we didn't take talk back today because there was too much that we wanted to talk about, and I really wanted to get to know you better myself, even though my husband Howard has known you for many, many years. He knew you as a child almost.
Yes, he did. I was a young uni student when I met Howard.
Yeah, you did indeed. So he's known you for a very long time, and I thought it was good to just introduce you to our audience today. And if you don't mind, can we just run over those contact details again of how people can get in touch with you?
Yes, just before I do that, I'd like to say that we also provide a free victim support group that meets fortnightly, and the leader of the support group is our domestic violence survivor, Sarah Kelly.
Okay.
And, victims of domestic violence can contact me to come for our support group, even if they're not a client.
Right, okay.
We also provide referrals to psychological services and financial counselling. And in the financial counselling side of things, it's actually free financial counselling.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, that would really help. Because I think it would assure people too, because the money is a scary aspect.
Yeah, and the clinic's actually to help people on their journey. It's not just for Band-Aid effects. It's to actually help them through their journey. To move on and to start a new life. Yes.
And that's effectively what you want them to do.
Yes.
You don't want them to go back home.
No. I want them to realise there is a new path.
Exactly. So can we I'll just ask you again. Just let's go back through the telephone numbers, email addresses, and how people can get in touch with you.
You can contact me, Shirley, on 9375 1488, or you could send me an email on shirley@domesticviolencelegalclinic.com.au. That's shirley@domesticviolencelegalclinic.com.au.
Sounds good. Anyone wanting to contact Shirley can do so using those details, or you can listen in this time next week, and we'll take some live talk back then, and we'll have Shirley primed and ready for the phones. Don't look so scared, Shirley. You'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you for today. Thank you for giving me this time.
Oh, no. I've loved it. It's been very, very interesting. This is Behind Closed Doors. You're listening to the Sattler Files. Back shortly with more.
This is the Sattler.
DevRite Homes. When you're looking for